back. This is Uziah Who Bang Yehuda. Come on. Shout out to B'nai Israel Aash. Afro-Asiatic Semitic Hebrew. Stand up. Let's go.
Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Sameach Pesach. Kag HaMatzot. So happy Passover. Kag HaMatzot, which means the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And Rosh Hashanah. For Bayash African descent, Rosh means first and Shana means year. So for us, it is appropriate for us to say Rosh Hashanah. For Rosh Hashanah means the beginning of the year. So happy for Bayash African descent, B'nai Israel, happy Rosh Hashanah, which is in Abib, which is the beginning of the year. All right. So what we're going to go over today is just a couple of slides, right? This will be Asia Minor and Africa, where man originated. Okay, let's get started. All right. All right, y'all. So this is the first slide. So Asia Minor and Africa, where man originated, where he was made and placed by Elohim. So what we're going to do, as you see Africa and Middle East is connected. So B'nai Israel, Bayash African descent, we don't divide, right? We don't divide Africa and Middle East, Asia Minor. It is connected. For us, this is one continent. So this is our definition. This is what we define as Eden, aka Africa, right? This is what we define. And over here, this map, if you can see, it shows you the maroon. The maroon is all the Afro-Asiatic areas. And Afro-Asiatic is Ham and Shem. Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? But Africa and Asia Minor is Ham and Shem. So they're like one unit. And then you have Japheth, the rest of Asia and Europe, right? Those are the sons of Japheth area. And they have a bigger landmass, right? So let's start with Genesis chapter 2, verses 7 through 15, where it talks about the 4 riverheads, right? By the Iraq, Iran, and Kuwait border. The rivers Pishon, Gihon, Hiddekel, and Euphrates. If you look up here, just to give you, you see the Euphrates, you see the Tigris and Euphrates, right? And then you see the Nile. So right here in this area, from Iraq, Iran, Kuwait border, right? This is where it starts, where the 4 riverhead starts right here. 2 are in what we call the Middle East or Asia Minor, right? And then 2 are in, Gihon's in Ethiopia and Pishon is in Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. So we have 2 rivers in the so-called Shemitic realm and 2 rivers in the Hamitic or Africa, right? And you see, look, that's all connected. So let's get started. All right. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And Yahweh Elohim formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils breath of life. And the man became a living being. And Yahweh Elohim planted a garden in Eden to the east. And there he put the man whom he had formed. Right? So, look, this is east. This is east, right? Now check this out. All right. Verse 9. And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight, right? So these were beautiful trees, flowers, whatever, and good for food. So not only was it pleasant to the eyes, it was good to consume. So it also shows you when it comes down to eating, right? It has to be plated well. It has to look good and be good to eat, nutritious and good and taste good, right? So Elohim made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. with the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. 10. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became 4 riverheads. All right. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. 12. And the gold of that land is good. Bethlehem is there, and the Shohan stone. 13. So they say that the land of Havilah would be what we call Saudi Arabia, right? Later, the land of Midian. So that area today is called Saudi Arabia. All right. 13. And the name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. Now, you have Ethiopia today, right? They call that Cush. But then you also have Cush stretching all the way out to India as well, right? So it's 2 things going on, right? So, but they also say that there's a Gihon River in Ethiopia, you know, by Ethiopia area. You know, it is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. 14. And the name of the third river is Hedekel. It is the one which goes toward the east of Ashar. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. So we have a definite landmark here. We have a definite river, Euphrates, right? That's over here by the Iran, Iraq, Kuwait border. So you see Euphrates, right? And you see this is in the area of what we call Saudi Arabia, on that area, right? And then you even have the river Nile. And there's other verses where it talks about the biblical borders of Israel. It'll say from the Euphrates or the Tigris Euphrates to, you know, to the great river Nile. So it's still covering that same landmass from the beginning, right? From that. So it's something about that area. It's something about that area, something about that land. Okay. All right, let me keep going. The name of the third, the fourth Euphrates, 15. And Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. So even when you have a blessing, you got to work it, you got to guard it, you got to keep it clean, you got to keep the upkeep. Even if you're given something, even if you're given a present, you still have to have maturity and responsibility. All right, let's go. Now, the land of Israel, the land of Yisrael, sits on the African tectonic plate. So Yisrael is technically Northeast Africa, Eden. Right here, you see Israel, right? You see Israel. This is on the African, on the left side, this is the African tectonic plate, right? So Israel is on the African tectonic plate. And then on the right side is the Arabian plate, right? You see the Arabian plate. And over here, you see African plate, right? The African plate. Okay. So the Israelites, Bnei Israel, they are Africans. They are Northeast Africans, right? Look. You have north and then east, a little bit to the east. So Northeast Africans, and they're on the African tectonic plate. And the original Canaanites, which were Hamitic, were melanated. And then the original Israelites, which was Shemitic, which was Afro-Asiatic Shemitic, right? Northeast African, and Israel is on the African tectonic plate. They were melanated as well, right? And if you go right over, these people were considered the ancient Midianites, you know, the Babylonians, you know, the Elamites, all of them, which was in this area, they were melanated as well. So that's a fact. If we say anything past that, then that's being dishonest, that's being racist, that's colorism, that's a whole bunch of stuff going on, because that's the truth of the matter. So I think if everyone, you even have scientists, you had Europeans, you had Asian, you had Middle Eastern, you had Jewish, you had all type of scholars that have, and I don't have all their names or whatever, but you can check it out. You can check out the science, you can check out the history, you can check out the biblical accounts. Everybody agree in all the different fields of science that the first man and woman and that area was melanated. Now, some say it started in Egypt, Africa, Congo, Sudan, you know, and some we understand that the first man was in the Asiatic area, right? In Asia Minor, by the Iran, Iraq, Kuwait border. Well, we definitely know that he was placed there. Now, technically, now here's the thing. Now, let's be honest. He made man. He made man somewhere. I don't know if it was like it was a little bit over than he put, but we definitely know here, right? What we just read in Genesis 2, that he placed man here, eastward in Eden. I mean, common sense will let you know he wasn't created in America, the Americas, right? Man wasn't created in Europe. He wasn't created in Asia Major, the other parts of Asia, that it would be in Africa or in the Middle East. But we definitely know that he was placed in the eastward, right? And this is eastward in the Garden of Eden. And so westward would be Africa, right? So Africa and Middle East is one continent, which we refer to it as Eden. Some people say Akbulan, some people say Africa, right? But this is what we know. We know this. So this is a key thing. Everyone has to confess to it. We're honest. We have to confess with our lips, right? That the first man and woman originated in Asia Minor and Africa, because we also say that the Middle East or Asia Minor is also a part of Africa. We don't separate it. We don't divide it. It's one house, right? It's one area. Let's continue. All right. The origin of civilization. Some people say Kemet, some people say Mesopotamia, but a lot of people will agree, a lot of the scholars agree that the origin of civilization is Mesopotamia, right? And look, this is Mesopotamia, and it's also the Fertile Crescent, right? Fertile also triggers your mind. That word triggers the idea of beginning, the conception, the origin, right? So the Fertile Crescent starts, and it also starts where it says that Yah placed man where the four river heads, right? By either Iran, Iraq, Kuwait border. It's in Mesopotamia, and it's by the Fertile Crescent. So these three things, from my understanding, helps me to understand that the first man and woman, right? Man were originated in Asia Minor, in this Shemitic area, right? And then you have Mesopotamia. Look, if you look down here, right? So origin of civilization is Mesopotamia. Elohim put man in the Garden of Eden eastward, which is by the Iraq, Iran, and Kuwait borders. In scripture, it starts by the four rivers of Eden, also the area is known as Fertile Crescent. Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, started with Abraham and Abram, which name was changed to Abraham, Sarai, which name was changed to Sarah, in Ur of Chaldea. It was birthed in Mitzrayim, Israel, right? And their inheritance is the Levant area in the land of Israel. So you see the Garden of Eden, four rivers at the bottom, right here, right? You see that? The Garden of Eden, four rivers on the bottom. Then it's curving around. You see Ur Chaldea right here. You see Sumer, right? The Sumerians, some of the first people, they were melanated. You see Babylon. You see Assyria, right? Akkad, you see Syria. You see Ugarit. You see the Levant area, Canaan, Palestine, right? Yisrael, the Levant area. Then you come on down, then you see Mitzrayim. You see Egypt, right? You see Giza. You see Memphis. You see Lower Egypt. You see the Sinai Desert. So it starts here. So the conception, it starts here, curves here, boom. And then now this is where we live. Us, B'nai Israel. But our ancestors started here. He went to Egypt. Yaakov, Joseph was sold in Egypt. Joseph went, got his people. Remember, he was sold in Egypt. Got his people, brung him to Egypt, had him in the Gesham area. Then we was freed. After 400 years, we was freed. And then we went to, now we dwell in Levant. But see, everything is happening in this area, right? And then you'll see the borders from the Tigris Euphrates River to the Great River in Egypt. So this area is something about this area where everything goes down at, where the origin of everything, language, religion, speech, science, understanding, everything is here. This is prime real estate. This is where it's at. The origin of man, everything is here. All right, let's go to the next slide. Again, this is just to show you, Israel is Northeast Africa, sits on the African tectonic plate, right? Africa will be Ham, that's westward Eden. the Garden of Eden's Middle East, Shem, right? Eastward in Eden, Iran, Iraq, Iran, and Kuwait border, Mesopotamia, Sumeria, Genesis 2:8 and Genesis 2:10 through 14, right? And then you have Shem, Genesis 10:21 through 32. You have Shem, which is the Middle East. They're northeast Africans. I'm sorry. And then you have Shem, Apaxad, Selah, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Shurag, Nahor, Terah, Abraham had Yitzchak, right? He also had Ishmael. Yitzchak had Esau or the Edomites, and Jacob the Israelites. So this is the line. This is the Shemitic line, right? Those people were melanated. They're Afro-Asiatic. They're Shemitic, and they're Hebrew. That's who we are. And Abraham was called Eber, which is Hebrew, right? So first we're Shemitic. We're Afro-Asiatic. Then we're Shemitic. Then we're Hebrew, right? And then through the line from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and since Jacob's name was changed to Israelites, we're Israelites now. So we're Afro-Asiatic, Shemitic Hebrews, but we are B'nai Israel, the children of Israel. And all right, here's the biblical borders again. Biblical borders of Yisrael, Genesis 15:18, right? On the same day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, I have given this land to your seed, from the river of Mitzrayim to the great river, the river Euphrates. So Abraham is, so out of the three sons of Noah, Abraham is not Ham, and Abraham is not Japheth. Abraham is from Shem. So we have to set our minds with Shemitic, right? Shem. So this land is Shemitic land, right? Because Abraham, he's the father of many nations, but also his root, his foundation, and his people specifically would be Shemitic, his foundational people, who he comes from, who we are, and who his children is Shemitic, right? So Yisrael is a Shemitic land, a Shemitic inheritance, and a Shemitic people, not a Hamitic or a Japhethic. So let's do it again. Genesis 15:18, on the same day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham, saying, I have given this land to your seed, from the river of Mitzrayim to the great river, the river Euphrates. So if you see over here, Tigris, Euphrates, right? The gift river, 4 rivers of Eden is right here, right? And then boom, you have the Nile, the blue Nile, right? The Gihon, the blue Nile over here. So you got from Euphrates to the great river. That right here, this right here is the biblical borders of Israel, from here to there. So the small little area that you see of Israel, biblically speaking, according to God, is bigger than that. It's bigger than that. And you see this map right here, Ham and Shem. This is Shem. This is Ham. So that's what Afro-Asiatic is. It's Ham and Shem. It's not Japheth. It's Ham and Shem. There was no such thing as Middle East, right? Israel is in Africa. Genesis 17:8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. Okay, so we got Genesis 15:18. We got the biblical borders of Abraham, right? And then we get more specific. Genesis 17:8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan. Canaan is what we call Palestine, but first it was Canaan. Before it was Palestine, it was Canaan. Then it went from Canaan to Israel. Palestine and everything else is a newer thing, right? We just got to put stuff in chronological order. But Canaan land was actually first given to Israel. And if you read in the scriptures, you'll see that was our land first before it was even Canaan. So technically it was Israel, then Canaan, and then Canaan reverted back to Israel. And then through us being conquered and us being exiled and then other nations coming in, then it became Palestine and then everything else. And then the current state of Israel. But biblically, you know, the people and the land is different than what it is today, right? All right, let's keep going. All right, so look. So if you see, this is the breakdown, the family tree of Abraham. Abraham, he had Keturah, she had her sons, right? Zimbran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, Shua, right? Abraham, he had Sarai, which name was changed to Sarah. Abraham. He had Hagar, right? Abram's wife and concubines. He had Hagar. Abraham and Hagar had Ishmael, Yismael, right? Abraham and Sarah had Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah had Jacob and Esau, or the Israelites and the Edomites. Jacob, Israel, right? He had Zilpah, Leah, Raquel, and Bilhah. These are Jacob's wives and concubines. These four women, these four great mothers, birthed the nation of Bnei Israel. You have Gad, Asher, Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali. And then we go into other things. You have Judah and Tamar, have Paraz, you have Zerah, Scepter, Promise, Yosef, he had the Egyptian wife, Ashkenath, Ephraim and Manasseh, right? Birthright promises. This is have Shem and have Ham, right? So remember that we also have, we don't hate against Egypt and we don't hate against Cush, because Moshe had a Cushite wife, Yosef had a Egyptian or Kemetic wife, and then you had even some of our other Hebrews, they had Canaanite wives. So you had Canaan, you had Cush, and you had Mitzrayim, which is 3 of the 4 sons of Ham, which is interbreeded into Bnei Israel. So we can't be anti-Hamitic when that's in our blood and that's our family. All right, and we can't be anti-African. That's in our blood, that's in our family. And Israel's on the African tectonic plate. So we are Northeast African, just to clear that up. That's our stance. That's Bnei Israel by Aash African descent, and those who that this is their think tank and this is their paradigm. This is what we're all in agreement with. So Bnei Israel by Aash African descent does not start or originate in America. It's not a Western mindset. It's a Eastern mindset. It is a Asiatic mindset. It is a African mindset. The origin is Asiatic, is Asia Minor, it's Levant, right? It's Afro-Asiatic, it's Shemitic. You know, it's an Eastern mind. So that's what we follow. So if you look at the definition of Hebrew, Hebrew is a member of the Shemitic peoples, right? Inhabiting ancient Palestine and claiming descent from Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Israelite. 2, a Shemitic language of the Afro-Asiatic family, the language of the ancient Hebrews. Afro, now a thick hairstyle with very tight curls that sticks out all around the head, like natural hair of some Black people. Origin 1930s, independent use of Afro, or an abbreviation of African. So Afro is an abbreviation of African. We are African. Here's Central Shemitic, Hebrew and Arabic, right? So we are Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrews. We're Aash, right? We're Bnei Israel, but we're Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. We're Aash. And then here are our other Central Shemitic brother, Afro-Palestinians, Afro-Arabs. So we're one family. And look, so again, here's Japheth. You see Europe and this part of Asia, all of this, that's Japheth. So look, all of this, and this is Japheth. This from Turkey, this round here, that's the Middle East. That's Asia Minor. That's Shemitic. So from Turkey, this right here, if you see, that's Shem. That's Asia Minor. That's Shemitic. And then this is Hamitic. So Ham and Shem, it cuts off right there, right? So this Turkey, this, and this is Afro-Asiatic. This is the origin of man. But this, Europe, and then Asia, that's Japheth. And then the other parts of the world was vacant at that time. This is considered the world. Okay? So the 3 biblical continents of focus is Africa, Arabian Peninsula, Asia Minor, right? Middle East, and then Europe / Asia, right? So you got Africa, Ham, westward Eden, right? All of this. And then Middle East, Arabian Peninsula, Asia Minor, Shem, eastward Eden, right? The Garden of Eden, boom. So Eden, 2 biblical locations, Africa, which is Ham, westward Eden, and then the Middle East, Arabian Peninsula, Asia Minor, Middle East, Shem, eastward Eden, the Garden of Eden. So this, for us, is where, you know, I didn't have Turkey, but Turkey is there. So that's why you see this, and that's why you see that. And you see this is where it's all at right here. That picture right there. So Asia Minor in Africa is where man originated, where he was made and placed by Elohim. The original man was in the Asiatic area. We like to say the original man was the Asiatic man, right? He was Shemitic, right? He wasn't Shemitic, right? But in the end, that area would be Shemitic. So let me make this straight. The original man was placed in what we will call today Shemitic land, right? But Afro-Asiatic. So the original man and woman is everybody. There, he's not like Hamitic, Shemitic, or Japhethic, right? He's the father of all. But then once we start looking into the area where man was placed, right, his culture, it's in the Asiatic, the Afro-Asiatic landmass. You see that? It's in the Afro-Asiatic landmass, and specifically in the Shemitic area, the Shemitic landmass, right? And see, this original man knowledge will be given to the Shemitic people, and then the Shemitic people will be B'nai Israel. So we are the we're kind of like the storage, because everybody else will go astray. And so the Creator made sure that he kept the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the beginning, and all the importance. He kept it locked and secure with us, right? Even after the flood, if you look at Genesis 9, Noah said, "Blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Shem." But Yahweh Elohim is still the same Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the creator of all things. He's the God. He's the creator. So Yahweh Elohim is the one who created everything. But it says, "Blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Shem." And Shem in Hebrew means name, right? And in Genesis 4:26, and the world began to call upon his name, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, or Yahweh, or Yahweh, or in short, Yah, right? I pray that this help you. I pray that this edifies you all. I truly, and so that's the end of this one, right? So I pray this edifies you. I pray this helps you. I pray that you guys get some insight. And this is an invitation. If you are Hamitic, if you are Shemitic, or if you are Japheth, we need to be one with this right here. This is important, right? We all need to be one, regardless who you are, right? The first man and woman, regardless of your political, your ethnic, and your religious, whatever, this has the original man. This is where the original man was created, according to this narrative, right? According to the biblical narrative. So, and we believe that it's true. And it's giving you actual real life locations, rivers, landmass. So, so going forth, that's the first thing we need to do. So if I was to start someone off with anything, I would start someone off with this: that Asia Minor and Africa is where man originated. And this is the place where God himself made the Garden of Eden and placed them there. So if anything, you have to say, hey, man was placed in Shemitic Asiatic area, Mesopotamia, Sumeria, right? It wasn't in the Hamitic region or the Japhethic region. We have to, because the Shemitic and Ham is contemporary, because you got Mesopotamia, you got Sumer is first, and then you have Kemet. And we're not hating on Kemet. Kemet is our brother. Like if you read what the scripture says, it says, do not abhor an Egyptian or Edomite. Do not abhor. We don't hate Egyptians. Just because we was first, Shemitic was first, that don't mean we hate Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So let us just correct that. Remember, Ephraim and Manasseh, their mother is Egyptian, right? From Pharaoh's house, from Pharaoh's family, from Pharaoh's house. You know what I'm saying? So, and we was placed in Gishon, which was in Egypt. Our nation was birthed in Egypt. So we love Egypt. You know what I'm saying? But we just don't follow their religious practices or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? But there are some spiritual and deep things in Egypt that goes back to the Tanakh, goes back to the Torah, goes back to the Messiah. But if anything, our spiritual breakdown would be more Sumerian, more Mesopotamian than anything, because that's where our forefather was at before Yah called him, and and we became monotheistic, because Abraham's father was probably following some of the Mesopotamian, Sumerian cultures, gods, and religions, not the Kemetic. All right, you all. So I pray that may y'all bless you, may y'all keep you, may he shine his face upon you and give you peace. Shout out to B'nai Israel by Aash African descent, right? B'nai Israel, Afro-Asiatic Semitic Hebrews of Northeast African descent. And also our counterparts, our allies, right? It's B'nai HaNikar, Isaiah 56:6. You know, our foundation will be Africa and Middle East, but also it stretches out to the other nations, the other sons, right? The sons of Japheth. But with Bayash, we start off with the nations that would be mostly Hamitic and Shemitic, right? Because that's where our neighbors is at, right? So that's who we reach out to. And then of course, we also give an invitation out to our Japhetic brothers and sisters. All men are able to receive truth. All men are able to receive salvation. That is a right and all men should have the right to worship the true and living Elohim, to have salvation, to bless and honor true, right? The true essence of salvation and the Messiah, right? And also they can bless B'nai Israel. Yah told Abraham to tell the people, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. Any converts, any strangers, if you are European, you're a convert, you're a stranger, and you have the fear of Yah, you love B'nai Israel, you love his melanated people, we have no problem with you. We love you. You are our brothers and our sisters. So just to go forth to establish everything in this new year, in this new spirit, in this new phase, that's what we're doing, okay? All right. May y'all bless you. May he keep you. May he shine his face upon you and give you peace. Shabbat Shalom. Chag HaSameach. Chag Pesach. Chag HaMatzot. Shalom, shalom.
Coming in clear, repent for the kingdom, cause it's coming in near. Have I become your enemy for spitting truth with no fear? Yeah, I kinda figured that's the case. I do it all in love, wipe that frown up off your face. Come give your brother a hug so love can replace the tensions and the slugs that's flying all over this place. We need to protect our women, protect our children, build nationhood, leave the hood in the building. We are B'nai Israel, yes, well, we are the children. Something about righteousness, we can start with the building. Have no religion, Zedekiah's for the children. Have no religion, nationhood is what we building. We are B'nai Israel, legacy for the children. Stuck up on our name of Most High, you will be dealing. Yeah, we are B'nai Israel, yeah. Aash, from ancient to the modern. Aash.